What is going on, and welcome back to SDS. The topic of today's lesson is going to be a little bit different, but these are 5 stretches that I feel every drummer should know. Why do I feel they should know them? Well, they're stretches that help me from going back to the doctor. There was at one point that my wrist sent me to the doctor to find out what the heck was going on with it. And if I would have just known these stretches, I probably could have prevented a lot of pain and agony. And they have prevented that since then. But before we get started with that, if you're watching this on YouTube, the question of the lesson is, how long have you been playing the drums? Put it in the comment section below, and let's start a conversation about it. Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about repetitive motion injuries. That's what these are going to prevent. A repetitive motion injury is something that happens over a long time to a part of your body. And whenever you're, for instance, a football player, it happens very quickly. So if you're a football player and you get hit, that injury happens very quickly. Whereas if you're working in an office and you type at a desk all the time, that activity over time is going to build up tension, and it's going to do what they call nerve entrapment is going to happen. So it's kind of like a cable. The cables start rubbing against each other, and then they start sticking. And that's what happened with me. So I actually had to go to an ART specialist, an active release technician here in Nashville, named Preston Wakefield. He works for the Titans and the Predators, both about part-time, and then he does musicians the other time. Just about any drummer that you would know here in Nashville knows who Preston is because he's worked on them. So what happens is we get things kind of entrapped. Things get, let's just say this, skip the technical terms, things get messed up right in here, okay? So we need to free that up. One way that you can do that is by stretching. Now, I am not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. I am a certified personal trainer. But if doing these stretches makes things worse, you need to go see a doctor. You need to stop doing them. But if you're just starting to notice some tingling, if you haven't noticed any at all yet, that's fantastic. This will help you never to have that issue. Okay, so what are the stretches? Well, first of all, we're going to go slow with every stretch. Okay, we're not going to pull or jerk. Every time I show these musicians, the first thing they do is they start jerking their fingers back. We're not going to do that. It's going to be very slow and controlled, and we're going to hold them for about a 6 to a 10 count on each stretch. The first stretch is we're just going to put our palm up like this. I'm going to grab these first 2 fingers lightly with my other hand, and I'm going to begin to pull them back. Now, as you slowly pull them back, you'll start to feel a pull right in here. That's what we're going for, is that pull that's happening right in here. Okay? So you're just going to lightly pull, hold that for a 6 to a 10 count, let it go. Do that 3 or 4 times. Then we're going to go to stretch number 2. Stretch number 2 is you're going to grab the other 2 fingers, and we're going to isolate that area. Why don't you grab them all at once? Well, you can't bend the wrist how you need to isolate this area over here. We just got this one. Now we're going for this stuff. So we're going to, it's a real technical term, this stuff. So we're going to take and we're going to pull those fingers back slightly, not into a pain. If you feel pain, back off the stretch. What you're doing is you're just going to hold that there and let that really stretch that area right there. The third stretch is we're going to take our thumb. You're going to put your hand up just like you were saying hi to somebody. You're going to take your thumb and you're going to try to pull the hand by using the thumb, pull the hand down like this, and you're going to begin to feel a stretch all down in here when you do that. That's a good thing, all right? Again, no pain. We don't want pain. Stretch number 4 is we're going to take our hand from this position and we're going to flip it upside down. What I want you to do is grab all of the fingers right at the base of the fingers, and we're going to begin to extend the arm out like this. And that is going to begin to stretch like crazy all this area up in here. And you'll notice that whichever side you kind of lean in on, it changes where the focus of the stretch is. Again, hold that for a 6 to 10 count. Do it 3 to 4 times. The last stretch I'm going to have to turn to show you. But the last stretch is we're going to drop our arm down to our side. And we're going to take and begin to twist the arm and rotate it almost like you were trying to flex your tricep. And what we're going to do is we're going to curl our fingers in. You see my pinky curling here? We're going to begin to curl that in and simply curl the hand up like this, almost exactly like you're trying to flex your tricep. And what you'll feel that do is it begins to stretch here in this area. But that's 5 stretches. When do I do them, Stephen? Do them whenever you think of them. Whenever I was getting better, he said 10 to 12 times an hour. Do you know how much stretching that is? But it worked. Okay, I went to see him 3 times and it worked. So what I want you doing is I want you doing these daily, 2 to 3 times a day, if you can do that, if you have the time. If you're on a gig, do them in between the songs. Do them after your warm-up. Do them whenever you think about them, but do them slowly and be sure and do them. I promise you they will help, because we get repetitive motion injuries because we sit here in the same place. Other things that you can do that will help would be to, every few days, adjust something on your drum set. So adjust the hi-hat height by a half an inch. Adjust the snare drum height by half an inch. Adjust the tilt. Adjust your seat height by half an inch. It doesn't have to be big adjustments, but just by changing that height just a little bit, it allows those cables, we'll call them cables, inside all the ligaments inside of your body to start doing this instead of getting caught up with each other as they do whenever you're using just a repeated motion. If you're having a lot of problems, I would suggest you go see an ART technician. It's active release therapy. You can look them up on the web, and they will help get you on the road to getting better. But the first look doesn't need to be surgery. Let's look in other ways. And if you're not having pain, these will help you. I think every drummer needs to know these 5 stretches. If you want to go a little bit deeper with your drumming, you can always grab a membership on the website. We have a 14-day free trial going on just so you can jump in and try it out, see what it's like. If you ever have any questions, you can always email me at questionssandanswers@stevensdrumshed.com or call the studio. The number's on every page of the website. If not, we'll see you in the next lesson.